Starting.
Yeah, for sure.
I'll probably wanna look back at it too. But yeah, I just, like, I was so torn yesterday with, like, because we woke up when we were getting home, we ended up staying, the night on our boat, and, like, because it was just closer to the ER to where we were, and, but I was, like, debating because I was like, "I wanna work," like, we're just sitting at home and, just, like, resting, and you got everything's elevated, everything is just, like, take it easy, and so it's just, like, I can either sit and, like, watch TV or I can, do this, and so it's been a little bit of that, but then I was realizing, I was like as I was, like, trying to go, like, create content for the week, I was just like, I don't know how to, like, fake, like, I don't wanna act like nothing's wrong or, like, that we're not going through something, and so it's like, "Okay, well, what do we talk about?" Like, or because, like, I don't think that it has to happen in your business to be successful,
Mhm.
but then I was thinking about it, and I was just like, "You know what? It would be so much easier for me to write content and to, like, sell what I'm selling, the mastermind, which is, and just, like, to the right person that I wanna attract to, if I can just be, like, honest about what's going on and just share, the ups and downs and share the reframes I'm making. Because isn't like, I was like, "That is exactly what I'm preaching about in all my other content."
Yeah, yeah.
So then I was just like, well, all right, I'm gonna start with this. And like, it's insane that there's the amount of outpour from people, just like good thoughts, just kind words, like sending the heart emoji and checking in. It's just, it's so very sweet and kind. And it makes like you want to show up and like to do more and just to like let yourself, like, if today is 50%, let it be 50% and it's good enough. Like, and it's really great to, like, just feel, like, very seen and, like, very, heard and, like, sharing that. So I think that a big lesson for me too has been, like, let people in, like, especially, like, sharing, like, if you're comfortable, right? Like, what's going on. Obviously, I'm not sharing pictures, I'm not going into the, like, the nitty-gritty because I just think that, like, there's not really a point.
Mhm.
But, I if somebody asked, I might, but, yeah, it's felt really good to just be like, "Hey, we talk so much about capacity, we talk so much about holding things and, like, navigating the hard times, and, like, that's why you, like, hire mentorship and, so many of the higher level capacities." So it's like, if I'm gonna like, I was like, I'm gonna obviously have to share this with, like, my mastermind clients, like, private clients, that kind of stuff, because they're gonna see probably I guess, the side effects of it the most. But then I was just like, well, why not? Like, why not just let everybody know too? So that it's just like, well, I'm not going to talk about this is what you need. I'm just going to show people and like kind of take them along with it, because what better than to just, not just talk about it, but be about it. And so then it actually felt good. Like, after I made that just kind of announcement, it felt like there was like a weight off my chest of like having to like be the Alex that's online and versus being the Alex that's at home, like healing and being a caretaker at the same time. And so it's like, well, if we just blend the two, it's actually easier.
Aw. Yeah, no, it was, like, really inspiring. Like, first thought was like, "Oh my gosh, check in on her, make sure she's good." And then the second thought that went through my head was like, "Wow, this was a powerful leadership moment." Like,
Aw.
in terms of, like, how you handled, the situation and then how you communicated it on your socials. And then also, like, the balance between it, like, the balance of, like, how much you shown and how much you didn't
Hmm.
show, and um,
Yeah.
really stepping into, like, your own boundaries too. Like, I really like that line where you were like, "My boundaries are my boundaries, and if they
Yep.
change, they change."
Yep. And, like, I'll probably, like, make posts about this week too, because I do feel like that was, like, it's something I don't talk about enough, but,
Mhm.
like, even the way I've just set up, like, my business is, like, for example, I say, I'm in my messenger support 1 to 2 times a day, and so that really gives me, like, that space. It's like, if I show up, like, once, for the day, it's like, well, I'm probably gonna do it later in the afternoon so that most people can get their questions in, but then it's still, like, it's just that one time during the day, and if I wanna do more, I can. So it's like, it leaves so much room, for example, to, like, be able to take care of your priorities, be able to, like, be doing your life without feeling like this need to like always be on and available. And if you
Mhm.
want to do more, amazing. And if not, well, you've honored what you said you were going to do. And so it's like little stuff like that where it's like I was talking to my husband and I was just like it's not like I actually have to take off work because like all of it is like it's so supportive of these times. It's supportive of like when it's good, it's or like when things are running smooth, then oh my gosh, then we can hang in there more, we can do more things. But then also like when it is like, maybe a more challenging times, just having those boundaries set up to just be able to be like, yep, like this is what you can expect. Like you're absolutely going to be taken care of, but also, I'm allowed to like move these around a little bit if need be.
Mhm.
But like I feel like if they're set up to protect you when you do go through something hard, then it's like you almost don't even have to like that's it's not even an afterthought of like, well, oh my gosh, I'm gonna ruin so many people's days, or I'm gonna like make my
Yeah.
clients so mad because it's like, well, I'm still able to like honor what I said I would. And typically my thing is I love to over deliver, but at the end of the day, it's like, well, this is the bare minimum. And if I can show up to do that, well, I'm still honoring what I said I was going to do, and there's no need to like rearrange and move stuff. And so I would definitely like for anybody like thinking about, like their own boundaries or like how they do anything, I would make it something like this where it's like, yep, even when it's like you're going through tough times, you still can like have that safety net without having to like um cancel and move around and like let go of like everything. Um and then two, like
Yeah.
having calls, like what's helped me a lot too is having calls on specific days rather
Mhm.
than like all the different days. So typically mine are Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, preferably Tuesday, Thursday. And so
Mhm.
it's like if you have to just move like a day, that's so much more convenient than having to move like multiple different ones. And so yeah, I mean it's just been like the decision to keep coming in and showing up, it was really like I kind of feel like I would have had to put a lot of effort into not.
Yeah, no, I hear you. I hear you. It's like it kind of reminded me too of like when my brother got diagnosed with cancer, and
Mhm,
it was heavily emotional. I was like running
mhm,
through like chemo treatments and like
yeah,
um you know, we were also like social distancing during that time because his immunity was
ugh,
really low. But
mhm,
like I was still able to put content out there because of
yeah,
systems. Like we had a comment
exactly,
bank. It was like literally it would take us literally not even less than a minute to put a post up because we
yep,
have systems in place and how the offers are structured. It's just like checking in on Telegram
yep,
mostly and like group calls here and there, but nothing like too heavy. And I think,
exactly.
um, like, I think what yesterday kind of reminded me of is the power of like, we need to build our businesses not like as these corporate structures, but as these
Right.
like lifestyle tools.
Oh my gosh, yes, and my head just went there, it's like, "Oh my gosh, Amanda, that'd be, like, such a good poster live."
Mm.
Like, if you, like, felt comfortable, like, sharing that and just, like, kind of talking about, like, yeah, systems and stuff, it doesn't always sound so, like sexy, like, when things are good, because 'cause you're like, "Whatever, like, I could always do this, like, this is fine." Or,
Yeah.
like, when they're not really, like, tuned in, it's like we tend to, like, make excuses like, "Ah, like, it's not that big of a deal," or whatever. But then, like, you go through these, like, challenging times, which life is gonna life, that's what's gonna happen. And then just, like, you're, like, so thankful for having, like you said, those systems on the back end that, like, business doesn't have to stop, and it allows you to, like, prioritize taking care of your brother, taking care of yourself, taking care of your family, taking care of like your own emotions and stuff.
Mhm.
And that helps you to continue to show up as a leader you need to be in that time without sacrificing self-care and like, your priorities. And I feel like that would be like a cool poster lot. Like, I mean, not to bring it to like the content stuff, but like it's like,
Yeah.
well, that's such an amazing like opportunity to just be like, hey, like we hope that you never experience what, I have or like what I went through with like my brother's diagnosis. But the fact is you're going to have your own kind of like moment at some point in your business where your business gets to be put on the back burner, but it doesn't mean that it has to slow down. It doesn't
Yeah.
mean that, you have to like have another pressure of like showing up if, if you're not that's not where you wanna be right now, and I feel like that would be, like, really powerful because that makes it real.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's dang. This call is very powerful. Wow.
I was thinking
I'm
that too,
like
I
having
was like
so many aha moments. I'm like, oh my gosh.
I
Uh,
know, I am too, I'm just
wow.
like I'm, like, literally, like, jumping, like, I'm so excited, I have so much energy, I'm just like, "Oh my gosh, I don't know even what to say anymore."
Yeah,
I know.
I mean,
Well
I think what the conversations that I've been having in like my head more like because I feel like I've gotten to like a really grounded state. Obviously with your coaching because you helped me like when I was going through a little emotional or
You
but
handled it really well, like, you were so, like, you didn't make it worse than it was, you didn't make it better, you were very honest, but it wasn't like, there was never even like the slightest hint of victim. Like it was just very like practical and just like, and obviously there's so much emotion that goes with it, but like you seem to like see that the emotion was there, but it wasn't like the thing, like you didn't let it define you. And so there was
yeah.
so much leadership that happened there too. And like, so give yourself so much credit because that's how you came to the calls. And
Oh, thanks. I appreciate that.
of course.
Yeah, no, I've been like really interested in like the topic around like leadership.
Yeah.
Because I've been like diving deeper around like bigger containers because I'm doing all the marketing, I'm doing all the sales practices, like there is content like going out there galore, right? It's
Right, right.
boom, 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 like like machine
Yep.
gun style content going out on all channels.
It is, and it's so good too, but, like, I get it. Yeah, it's like I feel like there's, like, this I feel like where your business is going to it, and probably why this call is so freaking good, is
Mhm,
like it is more in that leadership position, especially for like you have delegate coming out in like capacity where these are mini minds masterminds. Like,
mhm.
yes, there's like the content and like there's the systems and then there's the operations that are gonna help. But then like even more so, it's like you can have all that in place, but like if you don't have like the leadership, you're still kind of building like a business on toothpicks or like no
Yeah.
matter how much money you're making, it's like we kind of like it's like if mamas goes out, like nobody's gonna like do well. And I do feel like you where you're heading in your business is like those conversations with people. And yes, we can work on systems, backends, all that stuff, but it's really about, like we've been doing a lot of content around like who are you when the pressure hits? Like
Mhm.
and it's not just like, "Oh, let's make it pretty on Canva." It's like, really, who are you? And
Yeah.
really, like, how do you move when, you know, you got a lot of weight on your shoulders? And I feel like your business and you have really been, like, craving to step into that arena, which makes me excited because I think that you're the perfect person to do that.
Thank you. Yeah, yeah, that's like something I've been thinking about as well is because I know why I kind of blocked myself off from sales in the past. Like last year I had like really traumatic client experiences, was planning a
Yeah.
wedding, had like two friends I fell out of friendship with, like my brother like got cancer. Like it was a heavy,
Mhm.
heavy year, 2023.
Oh god, yeah.
But I feel like with God, like I really held through that
Mhm.
experience and like learned from it and like took different lessons from it. Um,
Mhm.
Heading into this launch with Delegate, I really do want more people in my programs. I feel like we could handle it. The perfectionist in me is like, but what if we can't handle it? But what if they don't like it? But what if they complain and want refunds? Like, that type of extreme. But
Mhm.
me and my team member, we're in those spaces. Like, I am in that space like daily. I'm checking for messages. Like, I don't just do cheerleader responses where it's like, go you. I go deep into like, okay, let's do this, let's do that. Like, awesome. Let's like move this edge or that edge. So it's like,
Yeah.
it's a lot deeper responses.
Yeah. And I'm sure too, just because like, "Hi, Janae. Hello, hello."
Hey, hey, Janae.
Janae, we're just kind of like having a really
Hey.
it's almost like coffee chat where we're like just kind of talking about like leadership and showing up and everything. So
Oh, I love this.
yeah. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
amazing. But if you have like any like structural stuff or questions you ask, please don't hesitate. And also feel free to jump in on the conversation as well.
Okay.
Um,
Okay, perfect.
Yeah. We were just talking about her post that she did yesterday and how it was like a really powerful leadership move and
It
how
was a very power. I like literally read that this morning.
Mhm.
oh, thanks.
It was a
Well,
carousel one, right?
yeah. So I was like,
Yeah.
I have some posts that like, were like, kind of batched and like ready to go this week that I'd written over the weekend and just kind of like we're like, I could just like trickle those out and call it good. But I was telling Amanda, I was just like, well, it's gonna feel actually harder if I don't kind of share like what's going on in my life. And then I was just like, also kind of thinking, it's like, well, everybody talks about showing up when it's hard and doing the thing and like,
Mhm.
like basically the leadership aspect of things. And I was like, well, like I am just going to share this journey with everybody. And yep, I'm still going to be selling. So if you see me like posting about, spots open, you see me maybe we'll do a pop-up sale. Who knows? If you see me doing stuff, yep, that's what I've decided to do. And we get to have both. So
Yeah,
so it was
totally.
actually just like almost selfishly for me, it was like publicly stating, like, yeah, I'm still going to show up even though this happened. It might not be, my 100% every day might look a little bit different, but I'm going to use because like we're doing all the reframes and stuff of like what we do in business. It's like, well, what are we making this mean? Like, what's the fear that's coming up? What's this, and it's just like, well, if we're just doing that, we're just applying it to a different area of life. And then also like there was stuff that came up about business. Like, are people going to judge me if I still want to work? Are people going to, you know, are they going to judge me if I do have to take some time off? Are they going to judge me? And so it's just like, well, actually, we're just going to take everybody through this.
Yeah. And
Because
it's like people are gonna judge or think what they want regardless. So
exactly.
it's just like, what do you want to do? You know?
That's
Mhm.
what I was thinking, and I was telling Amanda, I was just like, "Well, we're basically, like, laid up on the couch, like, just watching TV." Like, I have my phone and my laptop. It's so nice for me to, like, focus on something else, and I was like, "I want to work. I wanna hear from my clients. I wanna be creative and doing these things," because, I mean, the time's gonna pass anyways, like, we might as well be productive with it.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then we were just having before you jumped on a conversation about like boundaries too, in which I was actually this is such an amazing like conversation for even like for your work as well. I know we always talk about like having the systems and like the operations, and Amanda said like she said this so well. It's like, when it's good, it's like it gives you like that time and that freedom to like be with your family and do what you want to do and basically have a business that works when you don't. But where you really appreciate those kinds of things is like when you have, say, a family member fall ill or you have to be a caretaker or like when
So
there is
true.
something like this happens and it's like you're not worried about like, oh, is business going to slow down for me, what's going to happen with this thing, and there is no greater peace of mind than that. So we were having such like a good conversation around just like leadership and how we carry ourselves and like she was sharing some of her stories about her 2023. And so, yeah, we can open up this conversation to be like whatever we want it to be.
I
Mhm.
love this conversation.
I know, right? Yeah, because I was telling Alex, I was like, 2023 was a really intense year. Like, I had some market
Same.
breakdowns. I was planning my
Yeah.
wedding.
Mhm.
Like, I
Yeah.
lost two friendships.
Mm.
Like, it was like my brother got chemo, like, got cancer, and I was bringing him to chemo appointments. And then,
Mhm.
like, I was telling her, like, when I was in the middle of bringing him to chemo appointments and stuff, like, I was so grateful to have, like, a freaking content bank, right?
Yeah.
Like, it was like, it literally took less than a minute to get content out and then to have team. Like, I didn't need to, like, stop. I was actually in a mastermind launch as well for capacity when all that
Isn't it
happened
so, oh
too.
my God.
So, and I was like, I didn't have to stop the launch. I didn't have to like go
Yeah.
into like a whole heavy thing. Like it's just that's the power of systems and having like a simple business, you know?
Yep.
And I
True.
think that's what everybody at the core wants, is like a simple business.
Yeah, and it's hard as like, well, I don't want to say hard, but like I would say it's more challenging because what we do, it's like we are the face of our business, we are the brand, and like, our little nuances and what make us, us is like such a big selling point. And so with like the pendulum swinging the other way, it's like when we're not able or want to be that, like on, if you will, like that's when you really start to appreciate the systems, like Amanda said, the content bank. It's like even like for myself too, I was thinking is like how easy it is to just like repurpose some posts and just like, take the emotion out of it. It's like nothing has to be like it literally gets to be do your best and forget the rest, but business still gets to keep moving. People still get to keep coming into our world. And then we were having the conversation too around like just even client experience. It's like setting up your boundaries in your business so that even in worst case scenarios, it's like you can still support your clients. You can still, it's like but it gives you that room also. Like one thing I say a lot of times, like when we start like a container is like, here's what you can expect. I love to over deliver, but like at the end of the day, my boundaries are my boundaries. They can change, but this is like basically I always tell people the bare minimum so that like it protects you in these moments where it's like, well, maybe today is not going to be such a great day. Like, and there's maybe, a family member's in a lot of pain or you've got appointments or whatever. So it's like, even in like, your telegram messages or whatever saying like I will be there 1 or 2 times a day. And if you just always honor like that one time, like then it's like nobody has like business, the client experience doesn't have to go down. People don't have to like move stuff or like, and just like we were having a good conversation about like running your business like when it's good, but like setting it up to protect you when things are challenging.
Mhm.
Right.
So that's been a good conversation too.
I love that.
Yeah. What's coming up for you though, Janae? And then literally it can be anything. I'm really happy you guys jumped on.
I feel like in general, like in life, or what's our topic of
What well, we're just kind of riffing, whatever. If there's anything that comes up, feel free to
this
drop it.
morning? I'm hanging on to the morning. We
Yeah.
are I think the baby, she's getting like 6 teeth at the same time. Like life is crazy over here.
Oh gosh. Also, you
So
get this 100%. You're like, girl.
I'm in the thick of it because like she got
Yeah.
2 teeth at once. So that was the first set. And now it's like I can see all the like where her gums are all puffy, them coming down. And there's like
Oh,
over 6 of them. And so we've just been like,
oh, there's no
I'm
sleep.
here. It's nap
There's no
times
sleep.
are wacky. She was sleeping at night. Nighttime is
Uh-huh.
now wacky. Like yesterday. Yeah, I'm talking about you. Yesterday she woke up. You want some more? Yesterday she woke up at like I want to say it was like 4 in the morning, and I was just like, oh my gosh, like I am not coherent or should be awake at this time. But
you know,
other
and it's
than that,
always,
I feel like, huh?
oh, go ahead.
Oh, but I was gonna say, like, other than that, I've just been like, we're like getting ramped up for, I feel like, what is a typical summer of just like travel, seeing family,
Yeah.
weddings, like all of this is like gearing up right now. So, I've just been kind of like, I feel like for a while when it comes to like content,
Mhm.
I was like super structured, I guess would be the right word to use. Like, am I following the formula? Am I doing this? Anyways,
Mhm.
so I've just decided like I'm gonna take, I don't know how long it's been, a week, and just like do like say whatever I think, whatever.
Yeah,
Anyways, I had this reel that took off. And so now I'm like,
that's
oh,
fun.
that's
Yeah.
cool. How do I do that again? Because yeah, normally my reels only get a
Congratulations.
couple
That's
hundred
so fun.
views, and it's like 4,000 views. So I know there's ones that get more, but for my account, that's
Oh,
like
wow. That's
a shit
amazing.
ton. Yeah.
That's
And
so
so and it's still
exciting.
growing.
Yeah, it probably will continue to pick up speed. Like some of mine, like had like a really slow like takeoff, but then all of a sudden it was just like boom, like they got and it doesn't happen for me all the time by any means, but like
No,
it
no,
is
yeah.
it is exciting to watch when it does. So I'll have to go find it, but like I would be
I can
curious
send
though
it
to
to you.
oh my gosh, please do.
And
I
I
want to
think
love
I
on it.
know what made it work.
Yeah,
I've been
what
like
do you
kind of like
think?
deciphering. So okay, hold on really quick. She's in the middle.
Oh,
One
take
second.
your time. Take your
Okay.
time. We get it.
She's like, where's my breakfast? Okay. So for one, it was like I don't do a lot of like true behind the scenes like B-roll because I'm just like I do this every day. Like it's not that
Yeah,
interesting. But
yeah.
that day I was just like I need to post a reel. I don't want to use the video I've done before, and I happen to be making like a chicken pot pie from scratch. So
Oh,
the
girl, that sounds
video is like
amazing.
me, yeah, it was like me putting on the top crust and like, like you do all the like designs in it. It's like that, but then the sound in the background is like me talking with her. So you can hear like baby
Oh,
babbling. And so I think it's like multiple things. Like it's
yep,
stimulating visually, but it's also like me doing something that's like so mundane. And then you hear
yes.
like baby sounds in the background. And the hook on it was like POV, I decided I was available to have a business that supports me to be home with my baby. So like the
Nailed it.
visual hook, the like audio hook and the
Yep.
written hook all match.
Yes. Oh, I'm gonna write that down because I feel like that, like when I heard you like speak that back, I was like, of course it did. Yes, 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 yes. And too, I was thinking like lately I've just like noticed some of my patterns. Like I'm really not being drawn to reels or videos where it's like on this gorgeous beach or like a private jet. Like I literally love when people are like in their kitchen with like a messy bun, like no bra on, maybe like your husband's t-shirt or something, and like they're cooking or they're
Yeah.
making something. And it's like the real life behind the scenes. I love that stuff. And so I feel like that probably hits so well with your audience, like just like hearing you, hearing her. So it's very authentic,
Yeah.
seeing you just like being a mom, just like making chicken pot pie. Like again, it's chicken pot pie as well, like amazing. but like, but then like the point of view where you tied in the embodiment of like this is life, and it's like I just think that that was brilliant, and I would like see. Yeah, take some B-roll and like, maybe record some like little voice notes of like you and her talking together or whatever. And then like
Yeah.
as the hooks come to your mind or like as like you like, well, like I just like got this idea to share this, like go for it. Why not?
I know. I was like, wait, so because I feel like I've always overthought reels because I actually prefer video to be
Mhm.
honest. But I
Yeah.
always find the video part of it, I'm just like, what the fuck am I videoing? Like, what am
Yeah.
I like? I can
Yep.
do because I have lots of hiking stuff, which is cool, but normally it's more challenging to see someone's face in it unless it's like a close up because it's like you're
Mhm.
hiking, like we're on the move. Um, but then I was like, well, this week's my birthday, so I'm probably gonna make a
Oh
zucchini
my
cake.
gosh, happy birthday.
Thank you.
You should
So I'm probably
celebrate like for the whole week.
yeah, absolutely.
You
So
should have
I'm
every
probably
day the
gonna
excuse,
make
like it's my birthday.
I know. So I was like, I'm probably gonna make a cake this week anyway. So I was like, okay, I should definitely film that.
Happy
Yeah.
birthday.
Thank you. But
Yes.
yeah, so that's kind
I
of
And that's such
what
a
I'm.
good, like, point too, is like, yeah, there's like a formula we can follow. There's some structure and framework. At the end of the day, though, it's not like that's not how we have to do and say everything. Like, I feel like if we follow it for like our salesy post or like where we're wanting to convert, I'm definitely like, even for myself, I'm looking to make sure we're hitting like all the different little things just so we can like appeal to the most buyers as possible. But at the end of the day, like if there's something you wanna say, you just wanna say it how it is, or you just wanna be creative and you just wanna play, like, we get to have both. And
Yeah.
sometimes I think it's easier to have, like, say with most of your carousels, we follow that kind of, like, framework, but then, like, in between, like, "Oh, I had this fun idea for a reel," like, it's like everything is still gonna always be working for us, and it's
Yep.
not and then it keeps you out of the box, which keeps you feeling, like, creatively open, 'cause nobody wants to feel
Yeah.
like they have to stifle themselves or their words into, like, a certain framework, and it gets to be where it's, like, this nice dance of, like, we're showing ourselves, we're being creative, we're being playful, we're speaking our mind, but then also, we're bringing some of these, like, elements into it that are going to also help convert. But I find, though, when people are playing with their content, like, doing the reels, like, having fun, just saying whatever the fuck they want, all of a sudden we tend to find that we're hitting all of those points regardless.
Oh, okay.
And I thought, yeah, it's like we kind of naturally start to do it, But then if like we're not like forcing ourselves through that structure, like, okay, like what am I gonna say for a hook? How am I gonna like provide some context? Like what am I gonna say here that's gonna give them like a different way to look at things? Like also
Yeah.
we start talking, then we realize like if we go back there, we're like, yep, there's that, there's that, there's that. Okay, amazing.
And it's so funny because I think I hit most things in the caption, but like the caption
Mhm.
was literally like me voice to text on my phone. Like I didn't even plan. I was just like, I just got to put something out there. And so I always find it funny when
Those are the
sometimes
best.
there's posts when it's like, oh, I looked at this for like 15 minutes and it's like blah. And then it's this one that
Mhm.
you're just like, let me just slap this up here. And it's like, okay, well, that's funny.
Yeah, those are the best. And honestly, I always feel like they're a good reminder of like we know what to say. Like we can trust ourselves. And
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, messaging and content and all that, like it's always going to be a focus, but like it's not going away. Like no matter where we are, we're always going to be like, how can we make this better? How can we be more clear? Whatever. But at the end of the day, like because that's not going away, there's no need to rush for perfection. There's no need to like, box ourselves in. And also, I'm a big fan of done is better than perfect. Like once we
Yeah.
start trying to overthink things, once we start looking at it too much, like you said, it's like, oh, like sometimes it takes so long to think of like, what am I going to say here? Often it's like a really good sign to just be like, yeah, it's always the fast ones. Exactly. Like the ones that just, you just kind of like spit out and everybody's like, yeah. um,
Yeah.
yeah. So I would keep doing that. Keep having fun with that.
Yeah, I was like, "Whoa, that's like, let's keep that going," because that was essentially like a 40x on Reels. So, oh,
Exactly.
so I was like, and it was like the right audience. Like the like one lady who commented, like I have no idea who she is, and I got some followers from it too. But it's like they're
That's
moms,
good.
they're in
Yeah.
business. Like it like was targeted perfectly.
Ooh, so yeah, I would definitely use it as like a key thing too of like more content like that, especially like with reels and discoverability type of stuff. Like
Yeah.
seeing you blending motherhood and business, like I think is going to be very powerful for your brand. And it's really a lot of the backbone of it. So it makes sense. But like definitely for like getting in front of new eyes and making sure they're the right eyes, I would definitely like that would be
Yeah.
like
So,
the priority.
so I
All
was
kinds
trying
of
to
like
think of like I was trying to think of ideas because I don't share her face like publicly on social media. I mean, like my
totally.
friends have seen her and like you've seen her, right? But like,
Yeah,
that's like behind a paywall essentially. So I'm just like,
for
okay,
sure.
what content that like it's in there, but like not visually. And so that's why I was like, oh, okay, the sound works. And it just like
Yeah.
happened organically. And so I've been like brainstorming like what are other things that
Yeah. You could even take like clips from this call, like I'll post a recording and like where there's like a time where maybe like when you first came on and you were talking to her and like maybe you do like a post about like how, in your space, it's like kids are welcome. Like this is just there's
oh,
no.
that's a good idea.
And you could be like, I was on a mastermind call earlier, and it's like we're having these incredible conversations, but at the same time, it's like, yeah, like here's my daughter in the background, but also like I could see you doing like, oh, I have chills now too, like a post about like how amazing it is. Like your daughter's never gonna know anything different. She's always gonna have seen mom working, and but like her sitting right next to you and building your dreams and like showing her what's possible. But you didn't have to choose, and the reason why you didn't have to choose was of how you built your business.
Mm,
I feel like that would
I
be like a
love
really
this.
powerful post.
Okay. I'm gonna like draft it and I might send it to you before I like let it rip.
Please do if you want. Like, yeah, and we'll definitely go love on it and everything too. But I feel like if you could like ask your brain to like intentionally start looking for like all of, like just the teeny tiny examples of like how like seeing you being mom and seeing you doing that stuff and seeing you with her, but also like tying it back to like, you know, she like my business and my family life, they're not separate in the sense of like, this or that, but like I have a business that like I can my daughter gets to see me like building my dreams and then we get to go build hers because of that.
Okay. That's a good idea, Amanda. I have not posted it on TikTok. This is on Instagram, and I was like
Uh-huh.
impressed because my
Probably go way
Instagram,
bigger on TikTok.
it probably would be way better on TikTok.
It
Because normally
probably
my reach on
would.
TikTok is always higher than Instagram anyways. And so I was surprised that anything took off on Instagram. I'm like, oh, okay. Casual.
I have a good point of view for you.
Yeah.
What if it's like point of view? My daughter gets to watch me build my dreams so that I can, in return, help her build hers one day.
Ooh, hold on. Oh, I'm gonna
I'm
text
writing
you a
it down
recording.
too.
Okay, okay.
Hold up, that is the cutest thing ever. You got to do that.
Yeah,
Okay, hold
and then
on.
like,
Are you
and then you,
dropping it in the chat?
I can. I'm just writing it down real quick. Hang on.
Okay.
Um, But, like, that would be I mean, you wouldn't even have to do, like, a big caption, it could just be, like, like or share if, like, you're doing the same, or, like, if you're a mom in business too, it'd probably go fucking viral, um, because
Ooh,
that's such a big deal. Hang on, let me pull up the chat.
I love that one. That's so good. Yeah, I was just like, okay, wait a second. Like, there's clues here. Like, what exactly did I do?
Yep.
And it's funny too because I feel like it's so ironic. Like, I resisted the whole mom messaging. Like,
Yeah,
I was just like, for the
exactly.
longest, I'm like, I don't work specifically with moms. Like, I work with women. Some of them happen to be moms, whatever. But it's like, I feel like since leaning into it more, I've had even people who aren't moms yet who reach out asking things like, how are you doing it? Like, I want to become a mom here soon, da 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 da. And so it's
Yeah.
like, I feel like it gave me more clarity, but it also gave them more clarity. Like, it didn't change what I'm doing, but
Yep. Well, a lot of times too, I think that like even the appeal of like the mom, like kind of brand, and it's not that like it's like like you're turning into like where like that's consuming, but I think like what that's symbolizing for people maybe who even aren't moms is like one day I want to be, one day I
yeah,
want to have the option, or even one day I don't want children, but I do want the flexibility that if
the
these like if
freedom.
yes,
Yeah.
if moms can do this, like, this is who I need to be learning from.
Yeah, because it's
And
kind of like the idea of like if they can do it with whatever they have going on, then like why can't I do it?
yep, exactly. Exactly that.
Yeah, I'm
Because
really excited about
a lot of times I've spoken about like stuff, even like with my just challenges and up and downs in my life. And it doesn't always necessarily, so for example, my first husband passed away, I'm widowed, but I don't necessarily always attract widows because of it. Like a lot
Mm.
of times I'll attract people who are just like, wow, so you're very resilient, or you're very like you can take a
Like the
really
character.
yes, or like a lot of times I'm like, well, you can take like a really hard situation challenge and you can like learn from it. You can take lessons from it. You can like make it, like use it for good kind of thing. And so I do tend to attract a lot of people who maybe can't relate, verbatim to what I've been through, but they'll see like, okay, this is somebody who really just is like doesn't get down, like always takes things and uses them for good, or like learns from them. And to me that speaks a lot about leadership, and that's who I also like to, I love to work with people like that too. And so sometimes it's like just sharing the micro pieces of our lives doesn't
Yep.
always mean that we're going to attract, say, like the moms or just the widows or just the
Mm.
this.
Yeah,
It's like
yeah.
people will look for like the character and like the person behind it, like who you are behind the core values. And so yeah, I think for like one thing that Amanda and I were talking about too is just bringing more of these conversations like into our content, and bringing
How
these
do you
micro.
do that?
So like kind of like what I did yesterday or like last night
Because
was
you
just
bridged
like
it really well, right?
thanks. I was like literally just like ranting. I just wrote it on my notes app. But that one I did not like try to put it in a box, like, by the way. Like there was no like, okay, I'm gonna check to make sure that we have social proof here or like whatever else. Cause I'm literally my social proof right now. So there I'm not gonna be looking for screenshots or testimonials, like just side note. But I was thinking to myself, like right now, how I'm moving forward through this challenging situation was we're gonna be fine. We're gonna be fine. But how I'm doing business at the same time would be something that I would want to watch my mentor do. It'd be something that I would want to have conversations around with her, right? And so when I'm selling, we've got spots opening up for this space. It's like, what better place to like sell a mastermind than to like really take people behind the scenes and to show, hey, listen, like this is how we're going to move through this. And you get to watch me publicly do it because it's going to be just fine. Everybody's going to be just fine. And it's like,
Yeah.
and sharing like the whole, like, because what do we talk about masterminds? It's capacity, it's duality, it's being able to stretch yourself, it's challenging ourselves to continuously grow and expand, and challenging ourselves to like, how can we go deeper with our clients? Like, where do we keep leaning into our own edges and in turn letting our clients come with us? And so it's just kind of like, well, this is the absolutely perfect way to like take people with us through this because that's what we're facing right now. And that's what we would do behind the scenes anyways. Like that's what I'd be doing with, the mastermind right like this right now. And so why don't we just use it as well to like show other people, because this is the container we're selling spots for. Why don't we show people what this actually looks like so when they come into this space, these are the conversations we're having. This is how we're moving through. This is how we're, taking what we're going through in life and using it as an opportunity to learn more about ourselves and to go deeper and have conversations like this one. It's like this call today was not primarily about content. It's about how do we lead ourselves? How do we manage, life when it's good and also life when it's challenging? What are the lessons from that? And how can we bring that wisdom and that insight and that, all the lessons, how do we bring that to our clients? And also, why does that make you such an amazing leader and like the person for your clients? Like Amanda and I were saying, it's like 2023 was so challenging for her, and you too. It's like sometimes looking back at like those like moments that were challenging and like, what was the decision that you made that made your outcome different? What were the ways that you led yourself in those moments that made your outcome different than maybe what most people would have expected you to do? And then like, why did you choose to do that? I think those are conversations that a lot of leaders are wanting to have more so than like, yes, we love a how to. Yes, we love structure. Yes, we love systems. Yes, we love, all the things that are going to make us more money and to make business easier. But also, because we're go-getters and we're leaders of our own clients and our own lives, we want these conversations as well. And so it's like, well, why don't we let's not gatekeep. You know what I mean? It's like, let's bring this to the public and let's watch people or let people watch as you go through them.
I think
And I
that's
think,
so valid.
yeah.
I was talking with this one lady the other day, and she has a baby as well, and she was like, something that's like not a conversation in this space very often is like everyone who is a mom in business, they'll talk about how they made it happen, but not actually like how they made it happen.
Right.
Like what does that mean outside of just like being resourceful and like being solution oriented? Like, what does that really look
Right.
like? And
Yeah.
so I'm like, so I've been like reflecting ever since it came up because I'm just like how would I actually answer that? Because I think so often day to day, it's literally like looking for like the window, right? You're like, okay, like this part may not have worked out exactly how I planned before, but like, how can I still make this work for me? But I'm like, how can I be even more like, I don't know, unfiltered or like raw around that topic? Because I think it's something that like my audience is definitely looking for around like motherhood business, even if they're not moms. It's just like even the ones who aren't
Yeah.
moms yet, they like are like yearning for that conversation. And
Yep.
then I think the other part is okay, so like that part of just like what does it really look like? And then
Yeah.
yeah, I think actually it's mostly all that because it's like everything else comes after that, right? It's like we can talk about the
Yep.
how to, but they're like, but how are you actually navigating this?
That's the key difference, because it's like one thing to like say we're going to do steps 1, 2, 3, 4 whatever, but then it's a very different conversation. It's a very higher level of conversation of what does that actually look like from a mindset perspective, from a spiritual perspective, from like just like I would say human perspective, because yes, we can
Yeah.
do all the things. And I do think, people definitely buy the process. They definitely want to buy how you got there, what you did, but also like there is the question of like, okay, but how did you really? Like, what was the thought processes that you had? Like approaching this, like, how did you navigate XYZ? Like when you're, let's just say, I'm just trying to think of like as a mom, it's like, there are times when it's like, yes, you have like the how to, and by all means, you have the steps, but like, how do you navigate? So, for example, it's like, we're cutting teeth right now. Everybody's
Mhm.
sleep is off. Everybody's like off their like A game just for a little bit. It's not
Fact.
forever, but like baby is, maybe a little fussier than normal, maybe needs mom a little bit more, but you're tired. You've also got clients that you're serving. You've also got a business that you're running. So it's like when the thought comes up of like the overwhelm, what's the first thing that Janae says, for yourself? It's like, where does your head go when that happens? And even if it is like, hey, you know what? I give myself 5 minutes and I lock myself in the bathroom for a few and I like, take a breath and I continue forward. Not that that's what you do. It's probably what I would have done for a minute. But it's like, but having those
There's no
conversations.
shame.
Yeah.
I would have been like, somebody take this child. I just need 5 minutes. But
Yeah, I
like,
mean, because I feel like I'm trying to think now. I'm like, ooh, I think I need to like catch myself mid process because it's almost like
yeah,
it feels so like it's happening over and over right now where I'm just like, it's feeling easier, even though like it did not feel this way initially, but it's not easy. Like,
right.
I think
Yeah.
back and I'm like, before I had a kid, like, okay, I remember, and this might sound like so random, but like before I had a kid, I remember thinking like, there's all this mompreneur stuff. And I'm like, I just don't get it. Like oh, but I did this with like a baby on my hip. And now I'm just like, I don't use that marketing, but like, I understand why
Yeah.
they're
Cause it's
throwing
so
that
much
in
more.
because it's a whole different game. Like,
Yep.
it's not
Mhm.
like even now I think about like, oh, if I'm scheduling like a live or a meeting, it's not a matter of like, is my calendar free? It's like,
Mhm.
is this
Yes.
in the time of nap time? Like, are we about to start teething here? Are we having a shot appointment right
Right.
now? Like,
Oh, yeah,
there's
there's
so
like
many
so many
other,
other factors.
Yeah. And I think that all of that is
yeah,
like,
and
that's what everybody wants to
things
know.
that
Like,
you
that's like the
don't,
juice. That's like literally the juice. And I think
yeah.
everybody's like, amazing. Like, I feel like that would, like, really set you apart if you were, like, to, like, give your audience, like, that glimpse of, like, "Hey, listen, when we got shots,
Oh,
when we've got this thought coming up, when we're cutting teeth, like, this is, like, actually how I'm getting through it." And no, I'm not just gonna, like, joke and say, like, "Oh, just think positive," or just, like, reframe, but it's, like, maybe walking people through and just being like, "You know what? When we are going on 3 hours of sleep, when we're used to sleeping through the night, when, she's a little extra fussy, this is, like, how I've managed, like, my." I think a really cool post you could do too is like, yes, I've got the systems and the back ends and I help my clients do that. But also like, here's how I communicate to my clients, like what's going on. Here's how I set up the boundaries in my business so that like I'm supported even
oh,
in these times as well. And this
Mhm.
is my thought process behind it and why they're set up this way. Like, I feel like that's like the juice that like every single entrepreneur is like, oh my God, like tell me more.
oh
Because
my God, I'm gonna have to catch
everybody,
this replay.
yes. Oh, I'm definitely gonna be posting this replay. I feel like it's so good. It's so good. I almost wanna, like, put it public and just be like, "You guys, this is, like, a conversation everybody needs to be having."
I'm
Um,
okay if you share this one. I don't care.
only with your guys'
Yeah,
permission. That's
go for
totally up to you.
it.
Amazing. Okay, well, we'll
Yeah,
totally
I
do
have
that.
I already put it publicly about my brother's chemo stuff.
Okay.
All that's
Alright.
like fine.
Yeah, okay. I know that we're talking about a lot of just personal stuff behind the scenes, so I wanna respect that. But if you guys are cool with it, I mean, I think it'd be a cool way too. Anybody's listening, we're just gonna call a spade. Hire these women.
Yeah, yeah, let's do it.
Like, if you're listening to this, like, you need to be in their world. So just like go follow them, hire them, get in their world, all the things. So yeah, definitely. But I was thinking too, just like, those kinds of conversations, that's where like content, it's like when we're following just the framework or whatever, and we're just trying to like nail our ideal client, there is a time and space to where we have to kind of like think about like what are their problems, what are they going through, what solutions do they want. But then we kind of get to this space, which is like, who am I, how am I doing things, like the level of leadership. And I think that that's really going to position us too, or position you guys, whoever's listening to this, as like that's the differentiating thing, because so many people can teach content marketing, sales. So many people can teach back end systems, whatever. But like where you come in as the leader and where you come in as like, oh my God, that's who I want in my corner. That's who I want when I'm partnering with somebody. This is my ride or die. Then I think that it's these kinds of conversations and allowing our audience to see glimpse of that, allowing our audience to see glimpse of how we actually go through life and process it when like I feel like that's the kind of stuff where people are like, all right, that because they know life's gonna life. It's going to happen. And so like being able to like kind of pull back the curtains and be a little bit more vulnerable and share with our audience, like, hey, I'm not perfect, but this system works for me. And if you can take one tip from it, I've done my job. And just like just talking to the day-to-day things, because business is not just waking up and checking your phone and seeing all the payment notifications. It is just not. It is that you've got toddlers and you've got teething and you've got, family that needs care, that you've got, accidents that happen. You've got, just other things, just asking for your time. And they're not always going to be the hard stuff, but sometimes it's the really good stuff. You're planning a wedding and you got to go. So you got to go like taste cake and you got to go make a decision on bridesmaids dresses and you got to, whatever it is, or you're
That's so
traveling.
fun. Congrats.
I know, it's so cool. But like you gotta make a decision like when we're traveling. There's so much more to travel than just like look at me sipping cocktails on a beach. It's like you're organizing, accommodations and all this stuff. And so it's like I think that people are really craving the human behind the business in these kinds of conversations. And we kind of tend to lean away from them sometimes because we're like, well, how do we blend it? Isn't anybody going to care? I don't know. I just do it, right? That's often the
Yeah.
thing.
I think
That's
the
often the
biggest thing
thing.
that comes up is like I go back to I because we've been in business for a long time. Like you've been in business for 12 years, I've been in business
Mhm.
for 10 years. And so we've seen like the evolution online. Remember when it was like authenticity, vulnerability was like first coming out as a word on the internet and
Yep.
everybody was like word vomiting like on their pages, like open journaling essentially. Like
Yes, I
this was
remember
like
sharing way too much.
2016. Yeah,
Yeah,
I did the same. I was like every little detail about my life I put on.
same,
And it just
same.
felt like I vulnerability too close to the sun.
Oh my gosh, me vulnerability too close to the sun.
Sun. And so
Truly.
I love this conversation because it's kind of reminding like, okay, get things just in balance, right? It's good to be vulnerable. You don't have to be extreme vulnerable. I think I've been
Right.
the opposite since 2016. And I kind of was like, I don't want to share anything personal and blah, blah, blah.
I definitely did that too,
Hmm.
where I was just like, you know what? And I think that they can, like, they get to be separate. I just find that, when like, even looking at my own patterns and who I buy from, it's like I want somebody who's gonna share. They don't need to share all the shit. Like, I don't need a Dear Diary. I don't need anybody to be, like, laying out their dirty laundry. But
Hmm.
I do appreciate somebody who is like, "Hey, yeah, like, let's just be real people, and, like, let's just say, like, there's a challenge going on. This is how I'm moving through it." And, like, I always look at that person as so strong, like, even content-wise, like, I'm always so just I don't wanna say impressed, but I'm always in awe of people who, like, can manage, like, life and go through things and just still have, like, the best attitude or, like, at least just reframing things and allowing themselves to not be so perfect. And, I love that the yeah, we don't have to do, like, where we, like not everybody deserves the whole, like, ins and outs of our lives, like with the details and the vulnerabilities. Like we don't have to be sharing all of that. And I did the same thing, Amanda, where it was like I
Hmm.
shared way too much. People that didn't deserve that kind of access got it to me. And it was like I immediately wanted to just swing the other way, where it's just like nobody's getting anything from me.
Hmm.
And it works, it can, but I think that when we're craving that deeper connection with our clients and our audience, and we're craving to be seen and we're craving to be heard, and I think that sometimes that starts with us allowing people to see us, allowing people to hear us, and using discernment. But we're emotionally intelligent and we're self-aware, and what we share is always in our control. But allowing people, and then sharing from scar, not or yeah, scar and not wound. So
Totally.
don't share things that like you're not really like solid on yet, or like, it's like that's kind of a good general rule of thumb. But I do think that now with just the shifts in the industry and just like, everybody is, I think people are really wanting humans. And also, we have a more sophisticated level of buying too, which I think is a good thing. We're being really discerning about where we're putting our dollars. And it doesn't matter if it's $7 or $70,000.
Mhm.
People are intentional. And it's not so much about what you do, although that's a big deal. It's also who you are behind it. And so I think taking moments to share the leadership and share the reframes and share how you managed it. When I always think of like when everybody else would expect you to like give up, when everybody else would expect you to just like have to take a step back, there were moments in your journey, and maybe even they were small, sometimes they're probably really big, but like I would be so curious, Amanda, too, like if you did a post and it's just like how, the day that I got like the news about my brother having cancer, of course, like, I wanna walk you through what that looked like for me, but also what I like, how I chose to move even still. Like, that would be very, like, very much a deep, probably, like, you might wanna put a trigger warning on it too,
Yeah.
but having, like, that insight as to, like, how you got that news and how you moved forward, like, what did and that you don't always have to use that conversation though either, but talking about, like, because you didn't lean out, like, you had the systems in place, you had all the things, and, like, where did your mind go? Like, was there, like, a piece of mind that was just like, "I'm gonna be like, business is solid. That's a like, I don't have to
Yeah,
worry about."
honestly, that was like I kept saying like thank you God, like
Yeah,
that this was, you know, because I couldn't imagine like that happening like 5 years earlier. I would have been like everywhere in my life would have been a hot mess.
yeah,
But when it happened, I still have like a really amazing team, and so I just felt really supported
yep,
in my business. We had our content bank, we had like so many things in place where we could just
mhm,
get content up in a minute,
yeah,
like not even. And then how my offers are structured, they're really like more Telegram heavy, so it's easy to just like pop in, deeply serve
yep,
clients, pop out. So it's very like time flexible. That's the main thing, like with my business, every part of my business is time flexible, from my offers to how I project manage team to like the back end. It's all time flexible. So it's all about like when I feel ready to pop in for the day.
yeah,
And
yep,
so that's something I was really grateful when everything happened. And we're still kind of in, the not knowing phase,
yep,
we're still going through the process, like it's heading in a
sure,
positive direction, but life is gonna life as you grow and scale your business.
mhm,
And it's gonna, we can't always like life isn't always gonna be like perfect rainbows and sunshines every, 24/7, 365. But I
mhm,
guess we get to, decide what the story is going to be or decide what the reframe is going to be in any moment.
that part 100%,
Mhm.
100%, and I feel like that's just like, you know, that's the conversations that people want, is like, because we know what it's gonna look like when life's good, like, when business is good, when we've got the stuff supporting us and we can just, like, take off on a jet or for the weekend or for go to lunch, whatever it is. But, like, it's like, these are the kinds of things that, like, take entrepreneurs in and out of the game, or induces, like, the start stop, or, like, the dips and the roller coasters, and it's how do we do it, like, how do we hold it all? And is the structure in place to allow me to hold it? Is my support in place? What about me? Like, am I taking care of me? How do I move through this? And I feel like that's where so many, at least like quote unquote higher level people, those are the conversations that they're wanting more so than like, yes, we, like I said, we want the how to, we want the structure, we want to be able to do this and get a result.
Mhm.
But in spaces like delegate, capacity, in your masterminds and stuff for one to one, it's like we're hiring these people because of like also who they are and how they move. And those are the conversations that they're going to want to put their dollars towards and their time, energy, and effort towards, especially if it's coupled with the strategy and obviously your expertise and your zone of genius. But that I do think makes such a big differentiator from other people. And it's the easiest way to say why me without saying why me is just sharing how you carry yourself.
Totally. Damn, this
Yeah.
call is good.
I know, I feel like I'm gonna like listen to it over and over again and I'm gonna be like, wow, that was so good. That was just so expansive. And
Totally.
just gives everybody some like stuff to chew on and just to like just kind of let it be what it's going to be and just see what comes up and any other like conversations that come from it. Because the point of this conversation is so much deeper than just how do we make sales and how do we sign clients. It's like who are we attracting? Who are we being and holding ourselves to that higher standard and also challenging ourselves of like how can we lean in even when it's challenging, even when it's hard? And it doesn't mean that it's always the tragedies or like the really big challenges. It also is how do we lean in when things get quiet? Like,
Mhm.
or like maybe one client is doing phenomenal, but then another one is really going through a hard time. And like, how do we hold the two? How do we do all the things? And how do we keep ourselves like my motto, you guys have probably heard me say it is me first. Cause like if you're not taking care of you, I mean, the sink is gonna go down. Like, that's just how it or the ship is going to sink. And so it's like, I feel like those are the conversations that a lot of people are really wanting right now. And honestly, they feel really good to have.
Totally. Yeah, I feel like things are heading in a really juicy and like fun direction like all around.
They
Um
are.
like I don't know how to describe it. It just feels like we have like the systems and ops in place for like our next level of expansion. Like I feel like we're gonna fill up these offers really quickly this summer
Yeah.
and
Well, while you guys are on the call, I mean, if you're still okay with it being public and
mhm.
sharing and just inviting people into this conversation, please feel free to like tell people how they can be in your world. If there was any part of this conversation that they're like, nope, that's exactly who I'm looking for. Like both of you guys, if you can, like take a moment and just like say what's on your heart about like your offers and like how you want to work with people and what you're there for. If this is their first introduction to you.
Janae, did you want to go first?
If you go really quick, I'm just getting her settled,
Okay,
and
I
I will
got
be
you.
right back.
Okay,
I
I'll go
love
first.
the honesty of this.
Yeah. Okay. So hi, my name is Amanda Renouf. I am a business operations mentor and fractal COO, and I'm all about helping you create a profitable business that is beyond simple to run so you can get the freedom you set out to get when you started your business. Life is going to life, like has
Yeah,
you seen in this call.
we're just
Um,
gonna name this one.
and and I think what's so important about business systems and why I love it so much when it comes to business operations, systems, team management is it's really the masculine frame that helps you feel so provided for in your business. If you feel like you're the one who's holding everything together, you're the one who has to like be really on in your business for it to run, that's my sign that you're holding too much of the masculine frame in your business. And
Mhm.
as a feminine core entrepreneur, that's going to burn you out, right? When you think about your business, in your vision board, and when you visualize it, you visualize like this creative, fun, playful, it naturally flows into your life business. And so that's what I can help support you in creating in any of my offers, whether it's Delegate Micromind, which is my group program, or whether it is my highest level scaling mastermind, which is Capacity Mastermind. And so we have these types of conversations in those programs, from personal life to offer creation to offer stacking and product suite and really helping you create timelessness in your business. So, how I was describing where I can pop in and pop out of my business because my business is timeless, that's what you can experience as well. So, whether you are a mom, whether you are like a business entrepreneur trying to go for 7 figures,
Yeah.
whether you are, um, you know, a coach, a healer, agency owner, you name it. If your vision is to be able to be more time flexible, like this would be the space for you. And I've also been featured in Forbes, BBC News, Business Insider, like on all these strategies. And I've
Yeah.
helped hundreds of clients have really simple and pleasurable and relaxed businesses. And have launches that were so relaxed that they started pole dancing as a hobby, that as
I
well.
love that. That would be so
So,
fun.
you can follow me or stay in contact with me by going to www.expansionwithamanda.com, or you can follow me on any social network at Expansion with Amanda. Uh, Instagram is really popping right now, so I highly suggest going to Expansion with Amanda there, joining
Yes.
our Instagram broadcast channel because I'm constantly dropping like free audio trainings in there.
Oh, amazing. Everybody go get in Amanda's world like right now.
Yay!
Oh, that was
I
so
love
good.
it so much.
And
Hmm.
Janae, how can people just, get in your world and soak up all of your wisdom and goodness and all the things?
Yeah. Oh my goodness. So my name is Janae, as you've heard, but I also work with systemization, automation, but I do a lot of work with also nervous system regulation, personal growth, and tying those things together because something that I found with working with my clients in the past is you can have the best system set up, but if you don't feel safe giving up your control or being the one to nail it or feel like you always have to be the one to check, it's going to be really hard to actually let that work for you.
Mhm.
And I'm in this season of life where I have a little one. And so, what I like to help people with is really, yes, getting profitable in your business, but also having a heavy focus on presence and not missing out on the moments that are inevitably going to go past. So, in general, I take people from scattered visionaries doing a lot of the work manually in their business. When they're having clients on board, they're doing all the steps independently. They're going back and forth
Mhm.
between software. There's probably some tech overwhelm you've experienced. And I help them transition into being the savvy founder where they're able to actually have the vision that they have meet strategy so that it can become their reality. And if you're interested in being my world, you can definitely find me on Instagram at essentially Janae. I have a podcast, if that's your vibe, called the Savvy Founder
Yes.
Podcast. So if you're like audio on only on the go, I totally get that because that's kind of the season of life I'm in right now. And then my group hybrid program actually is about to launch very soon and it's open for enrollment already. So if you're interested in that, then you can reach out to me on Instagram. And yeah, I think the biggest thing is that it's so important to get your backend systems and automations going, like we've been talking about this entire conversation, because shit's gonna happen, right? Like things
Yep.
have happened in different seasons and you want to be ready. And so that's what I love to focus on is how can you get your time back and be profitable while you do it.
My God, you guys, you're really fucking good at pitching yourselves. Those are, I'm like, oh my gosh, I want to hire you guys. Like, it's so good. Uh, and I will just say too, just from having the pleasure of working with these ladies, I kind of get the sneaky like backstage pass to like whatever's going on in their world and whatever's happening in their life with their offers and just life in general. And all I can say is that you literally are in the best of hands when it comes to your business and the structure and the strategy, but also just the heart and soul behind both of these businesses and these women is unparalleled. Like there's no better place you can be in the world. So if there, if you're feeling a pull or a calling, like even just to follow, even just to like just be in the know and just to like soak up a little of that energy, just like just like as collateral, right? Or by hiring them, like I will say, like you are in the best hands. No matter, like you can't make a wrong choice. These women are absolutely phenomenal, and yes, I would put my life and business in both of their hands very quickly.
Mm.
So, yes. Well, ladies, I also want to make sure I'm honoring you guys. Did you have any other questions on our call, or did we feel complete? Did we feel inspired? Do we feel like we want to chew on anything else?
I'm good. I really enjoyed this conversation. So I'm glad that you brought this kind of like to the space based off of what's been
Yeah.
going on with you, because I think sometimes it's so right. It's like it's not the hook or the caption, it's the like
Uh-huh.
who are we being as the business owner? So I just love this call so much.
I do
Yeah.
too. I love it so much. And I'm so glad that we had it. You guys are just so sweet and so caring. And I just feel I, I was thinking about this too. Like I truly do have some of the best clients because it's like if you didn't love your clients, if if they weren't a match for like your space, there's no way you'd want to come in and have these like really vulnerable conversations. Like, especially like, you know, a day after everything fucking happened. It would be very, very tempting to want to like retreat and to just kind of like isolate. But you guys really make this space a place where I feel safe to come and share my truth and to still, you guys just you make it so welcoming and safe to come in and to just like allow me to go through what I'm going through while still like we bring these like we all get to experience and we all get to learn from it. And so I just want to thank you both from the bottom of my heart, and just anybody else who's on this call who's got to like this part of it and is listening, because like it's not easy, right? It's like it's not easy to keep showing up when life gets hard, not just what's happened in my life recently, but like everybody is probably thinking of a moment that they can relate to, and especially with this conversation. And so like I just want to thank you guys as well for like just opening your hearts and being so like the amount of support and love and just acceptance and just seeing, like, I don't have words, and that's very, very uncommon for me. But it's like, it brings tears to my eyes, like, just how humble and just how caring and just I don't know, I'm blabbering now, but, like, you guys are like you're gonna make this like transition. Like I don't know where we're going from here, but I do know it's all going to be just fine. It's going to be better, and we're going to come back stronger. But you guys, like as clients, make that so much like that's what's you make that possible too. Because like these are the conversations that my soul is also craving to have at this moment as well. So thank you so much.
Hearts.
I know it's like well, okay, I feel like this is a really good place to say, like, let's go chew on this. We'll keep the conversation going in Telegram if we feel called to. If there's anything that comes up throughout the day, you guys are like, oh, this insight or that. Or like, even if you're like, hey, let's like take this like moment and turn this into like a really amazing piece of content, please do not hesitate whatsoever. This stuff, she just got to sleep and can't talk. That's okay. Totally fine. I feel you there. But we can take this conversation to Telegram, and hopefully, like if anybody's watching this, like the replay or just listening in, like I would welcome anybody too to just like join in on the conversation, just to like just to feel heard and just to feel seen and just to like be a part of something that's bigger than just what do I say today to get people to buy. It's like, no, how do like who do I want to be and how do I want to lead and how do I want to leave the world a little better and use what's happening for me and turn it to good, right? Turn it into something that's going to help somebody else. And so yeah, I just want to invite anybody like for if you want to chat with me, want to talk with Amanda, Janae, I'm sure you guys would open your inboxes to them or just at least your broadcast channels. And
No, if
or
somebody
your
wants to
podcast, like
DM or ask about what it's like, client side, totally open.
yeah, absolutely. Because I think this is where a lot of people want to be, and so this was such a great conversation to be able to just tap into just as step one, but then also like everybody's got this option now from this conversation to decide not just what you focus on, but what you do with it and like what you make it mean. And there's so many opportunities to make it like so good. And Amanda's there to help you. Janae's there to help you. I'm there too. And this was an amazing conversation. I am so fucking grateful. I'm probably gonna go downstairs and cry.
Mhm.
That's amazing. Well, I will get this posted on our YouTube channel. This will be it'll be listed public under the mastermind stuff. But other than that, you guys, I will see you both in Telegram. Let me know if I can help you at all. You are not bothering me one bit. I very much welcome it. And yes, we're going to have an amazing week. It's going to be an amazing day. And I expect nothing but good news and blessings for all of us. Oh, thank you. Thank you
Thank you.
guys. What a great call. Oh, my pleasure. Thank you. All right, bye guys.
Bye.